Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. So, the Gtech AirRam Mark III. As the title would suggest, it's the third iteration of the hugely popular AirRam line of vacuum cleaners from Gtech. Back in the day, I was a huge fan of the Gtech range of appliances that were launched, owning a number of the products myself, including the extendable hedge trimmer, the Gtech strimmer, and of course the Gtech Mark I and the multi. I think we purchased that as a bundle pack. This was back when cordless appliances were new and somewhat novel, and Gtech were really leading the way with their innovations and their products. In subsequent years, however, I personally felt that Gtech started to fall behind the curve. In later years, I purchased the AirRam Mark II, which I personally felt was inferior to the Mark I. And was a bit of a letdown, to be honest. I kind of prefer the Gtech Mark I. And after my multi gave up the ghost, I purchased what was then the latest iteration of the Gtech multi, only to find that some of the best features were now missing. I really liked that the original multi, the very first multi that they launched, had the detachable head on an extendable hose, so it was really easy to manoeuvre it around, especially in the car. And then later versions, I think even the current version of the multi now has a rigid head, so it's really big and cumbersome, and it's just a terrible handheld vacuum cleaner for in the car and getting into tight spaces. So for me personally, it's now been a number of years since I purchased anything from Gtech. So imagine my excitement when I see that Gtech are finally releasing the AirRam Mark III. To say this is the third AirRam from Gtech isn't strictly true, given that both the AirRam and the AirRam Mark II had various iterations and upgrades along the way. This model though is officially the AirRam Mark III, so it's the first time in 8 years that we've seen a complete redesign of this particular vacuum cleaner. So with all of that said, let's take a look at the new Gtech AirRam Mark III. Right, so let's get straight into the pickup test. So here we can see some debris from our old vacuum cleaner, along with some oats and some flour, the usual sort of thing. So I know this is quite an extreme test, but we can see straight away that the Gtech is doing a reasonably good job of picking up. Although with that said, one pass over and we've got quite a bit of stuff left on the carpet there. So one thing we did note straight away is that the Gtech was flicking about a lot of dirt. It wasn't doing the best job of picking everything up in one go. If anything, we were having to go over multiple times because it was flicking everything into different parts of the carpet that weren't already dirty. Overall on the rug though, I think it's done quite a good job. So let's have a look at hard floors now. We've got the same test again, I just emptied the bin out again and added in a bit more flour so we can see where we're going. So this time we can see again on the hard floor it's really struggling with those bigger clumps of debris. Again, I know it's an extreme test, but where we haven't got that opening in the middle, it was just bundling up and pushing everything along the floor. You can see just there as well there was stuff still clumped up underneath that just fell back out. A few passes though, we did pick up the majority of it. Again, you can just see those thicker clumps of debris were a bit too much for it to handle. So one of the new features on the Gtech AirRam Mark III is its edge cleaning bristles, a little bit like the robot vacuum cleaners that you have. The idea is that it will flick out the dirt right from the edges and push it into the path of the cleaner ready to pick up. You can see those little brushes just there. So I don't know if this is how it was intended to work, but those edge brushes did seem a bit aggressive, especially on hard floor. Again, you can see it's really flicked those oats all over the place, and also didn't do a very good job of picking up the flour in the crevices of the wood floor there as well. So finally then is its capability to get under furniture. You can see we haven't got the lowest sofa here, but even trying to use those edge cleaning bristles on the AirRam Mark III, we couldn't get underneath the sofa. You can see right towards the very front edge of that there is still some dirt and debris underneath the sofa. You can see here as well, this piece of furniture is no way low at all, but again the AirRam is so bulky we couldn't get underneath it, which was really disappointing. Next then, let's take a look at some of the new features and innovations that we see on the Gtech AirRam Mark III. So first impressions, it's a really nice design. It does definitely look the part. And something we particularly liked with this vacuum cleaner was that it does really have that premium feel to it. You can see here that actually a lot of the parts are machined aluminium, such as the power switch there, the edge of the brush bar you can see here as well, even the little lever for the bin emptying there as well. You've also got at the top here, the handle is a leather handle, stitched leather, and also that lower down handle that we're going past now as well, so it gives you that sort of premium car finish feel. Next up then we have the LED run lights on the front of the vacuum cleaner. This has always been a staple of the Gtech AirRam models. This time however we've also got a little LED light there in the dustbin as well, so we can see when it's full up. And also this time those LED lights double as a charging indicator, so you can see here at the moment the battery was completely depleted. And then later on we can see how the battery is now fully charged, showing the full bar lit up. Here then you can see the removable battery that goes in. This leads us on to that charging dock as well. So this was another new feature that we really liked. Previously you've had to plug the charging lead either directly into the cleaner itself or remove the battery and charge it separately. But this time we can see we've got that great stand, it just sits on and then obviously we get those lights to indicate that it's charging. So this next innovation is one that I got really excited about. It's meant to be a lifetime self-cleaning filter. So the idea is you will never have to remove your filters, rinse them under taps again, bash them out or anything like that. So we can see here then there's like a little piece of metal that beats the clip there to shake that filter and knock out any dust. So here then is a quick demo of that. You're going to see the lights are going to turn blue and we're going to hear a horrible noise. And here then we can see the somewhat underwhelming results of that feature. Disappointing, as it's one I really wanted to like, but it just doesn't work. This is just one pass around the living room, not even upstairs. And finally the last thing we're going to take a look at then is that anti-hair wrap brush bar. Straight away I noticed the bristles on this brush bar are very soft. One feature of the AirRam was always that it had very hard bristles that would beat and bash the carpet because it didn't have that much suction. And straight away again I'm sorry to report that it just hasn't done the job. You can see one pass around the living room and look how much hair is clogged in that brush bar. So in summary, it's disappointing to say that this is yet another underwhelming attempt at a modern day cordless vacuum cleaner from Gtech. Whereas they were pioneers in the early days, it feels now that they are sort of scared to break the mould. The market's vastly changed since the early days of the original AirRam, and there's hundreds of options from hundreds of manufacturers out there at every single price point imaginable. Whilst the innovations that we see in this third iteration of the AirRam are well thought out and they are nice additions, they don't do anything to address the fact that this is essentially a bulky and cumbersome 1940s sweeper design of a vacuum cleaner. Suction wise, it just can't compete with the likes of Shark and, dare I say it because I really don't like them as a company, but Dyson as well. And for me this is just a real shame because I just don't like stick vacuums. There's so many stick vacuums out there. I know there's some fantastic versions of those stick vacuums out there, but I just hate how weighty they are in the hand. For me, I really like the upright design of a vacuum cleaner. For me, the weight should be on the floor, and I think also this matters to a lot of the older generation of consumer as well. And if you're looking for a traditional style upright vacuum cleaner minus the cord, this is something that's really hard to come by. And so I'm sure you can imagine I had really high hopes for the Gtech AirRam 3. But I'm sorry to say, Gtech, you've just missed the mark yet again. And so, with all of that said, that wraps this one up for today. If any of you have got any suggestions of any upright vacuum cleaners, any cordless upright vacuum cleaners that are worth looking at, please leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.